This is your host, Goon Bolt, otherwise known as Mafia Bolt from the channel, but yeah. Here for a fanfiction reading. I am joined by two guests that will probably not be guests for much longer, because we'll be doing independent reading and group reading, but anyway, I'll let them introduce themselves. Pyro, you're up first.
What?
Pyro, go.
Hi.
That's Pyrofeek213. He's
I was reading a card.
Anyway, we're also joined by OmniBro22.
Hello. Hello.
That's him.
Hi.
And we're going to be reading the number 22. It's a MLP fanfiction, as you probably know by the picture. It's rated T. It's suspense and angst, and it's based off the movie, the number 23, which is a really good suspense horror. It's not really horror, but it's kind of like a suspense drama movie. It's got, I think, Johnny Depp in it. It was one of his first movies. Anyway, it was really
Sponsor.
good. Sponsor? Anyway, so let's get reading. This is by Leader of Bronies, and I'm on fanfiction.net. Hello, every pony. This is Leader of Bronies here. My first story ever. Please leave your comments, whether they be praising or criticizing. I also recommend you tell everyone you know about the story, whether they be on DeviantArt, Fiction Press, Equestria Daily Film Fiction, or in this case, YouTube. More comments I get, the better. Plan to make this a multi-chapter story if all goes well. Chapter 1. A week ago. The only thing that surprised me was the fact that it was my birthday. I guess you could say that the day didn't exactly set the birthday mood, as Pinkie Pie called it. Funny, I still remember what Pinkie Pie used to say about her birthday. She would say that it was one day of the year made especially for you. A day made entirely for me. A day that I now wish never happened. February 2nd. Excuse me, Miss Sparkle? Is that closer to a Mrs.cake voice, or...?
No. Not at all.
Okay, what would you say is a good Mrs.cake voice?
I am not good with voice acting, but I could go... Look, Derp. Just read.
Omni, what about you?
I have no clue.
Alright, well, leave your mics unmuted, because, you're free to react to anything at any time.
Even if it's a phone... The phone ringing.
Well, then you might want to mute your mic, but, react. Anyway. Huh? What is it, Mrs.cake? I think I get the Twilight voice good, there. I've told you 3 times already what I've wanted. I want you to deliver this cake to Dr. Who's for me. You know how much he likes his cake. Why can't Pinkie Pie take care of it? Twilight Sparkle, you know as well as I do that Pinkie Pie has been in bed sick for the past week. See, that's kind of a dick move. Hire, you're free to stop at any time. Anyway. If one of my friends was in bed sick for the past week, I think I'd remember that, but, anyway. What? Oh, yeah. I had been so busy studying lately that my mind had to make room for my recently acquired information. So I had to erase certain memories from my mind. Like the fact that one of my best friends was sick. Yeah, no shit. Okay, Mrs. Cake, I'm on it. She gave me the coldest stare I'd ever gotten from her. Well, actually, it was the second coldest. She was still mad at me for something I'd done a couple months back. Guess that's where my story really began. December 22nd. Twilight? Yeah, Spike? I think I've come down with a fever. Oh no, come here and let me have a look. They're looking at the thermometer. I could tell that he used the old stick the thermometer in the oatmeal trick because there was oatmeal dripping off the end. Guess I realized then that he didn't care about going to Mrs. Cake's hearth-warming eve. Hearth or hearth-warming eve?
Something.
One of the two.
Cold things warming eve.
Oh my. See, she may be the caretaker of Ponyville's greatest party thrower, but she certainly didn't acquire the same skill. She always wanted to plan her holiday parties herself, without Pinkie Pie's help. Hold on, here's my question. If Pinkie Pie's parents are still on the farm, right?
Yeah.
Because she left the farm, then who's Mrs. Cake? Just
From what I know from other fan fictions, when Pinkie left her farm to move to Ponyville, Mrs. and Mr. Cake invited her to stay with them and help run their shop.
All right, because in the beginning I thought they were related, but anyway, every pony that went knew that her parties failed in comparison to Pinkie Pie's parties. Well, it's kind of hard to match Pinkie Pie's parties, but every pony also knew that if they told her what they really thought about her parties, she would never let them order desserts, which are kind of like their food since they eat grass and cake for breakfast. So I decided to let Spike stay while I went myself. Knew someone had to take cookies for the party. Funny, I now wish I would have said, "Screw the cookies! I'm staying here too, Spike." If I'd have done that, then I wouldn't have to go to the party and make her mad. I want 2 words on my tombstone. What if? Oh, Twilight, I'm so glad you could make it. I wouldn't have missed it for the world, Mrs. Cake. I tried my best to enjoy the party, but even Pinkie Pie, who was forced to stand on the sidelines, had to agree with me that the party could definitely use some touches. I brought a book with me, so I decided to read my way through the party. I got some apple cider to drink while reading. However, I was so into my book that I'd forgotten the problem I have with cider. 12 glasses later, the words in the book were a 3D movie to me. Twilight, darling, could you do me a favor and deliver the goodie bags to every pony that couldn't come? Hey, pipe down, lady. Trying to ride the words. I don't know, it wasn't a very good drunk sound. Anyway, my actions that day got Mrs. Cake working me several hours a day, every day of the weekend. She said it was to pay for all the precious cider I had wasted, but I know that she's just doing it to get back at me. If I hadn't had to work that day, I would be at home reading. Never expected the events that were soon to transpire. February 2nd. So, are we still in the past, or is this the present? Oh, this is back up to the present. Okay. Knock, knock, knock. Dr. Hooves? Hello, I've got your cake here. Hello? I waited a few minutes, but got no response. Was just about to leave it on his doorstep when I heard the growling. I spun around to find the angriest black dog probably the only black dog she'd ever seen. But his eyes were like those of a demon looking right through your soul. I was afraid for the cake, so I said the only thing I could think of. Good doggy? I had no time to react as the dog lunged at me, knocking me to the ground. I witnessed as he tore the box apart, helping himself afterwards to the totally ruined cake. My body filled with anger as I imagined Mrs. Cake's reaction. There would be about 1,000 more of my weekends. My horn glowed bright as I started to aim my knockout spell at the dog. I was going to make him pay for what he did. But as soon as I began to focus, he started to run away. Now, I regret chasing him more than everything. You know, why would you chase the dog? You know, I figured I would probably be a little more relieved that he was gone than to try to chase him.
A demon dog just ate my cake. I better chase him.
Well, you know, because you can definitely get the cake back after something ate it, so.
I feel like she's more just pissed off. And, you know, just reacting because she's completely...
I will stab you.
With my horn. But sharpen it much. Anyway, hey, you stupid mutt, get back here. Chasing him for what seemed like hours, he led me to the Ponyville Cemetery. Seems legit. The place had always spooked me, but I was determined to catch that dog. Come on out, you stupid dog. Not leaving until you do. Smart. Saw a movement out of the corner of my eye, one of which I immediately followed. Led me right in front of her grave, one of a Laura Toffee. Considered her lucky. You shouldn't have to deal with stress anymore. After failing to find the dog, I decided to give up and head back to Mrs. Cake's to accept my fate. However, on the way out, I discovered a dog tag lying near the entrance. I figured it belonged to that dog. It read, Ned. Ned? Nasty evil dog. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna call you from now on. Next time I see you, you're gonna be Ned with 2 D's. Nasty, evil, dead dog. Okay. Great comeback. I immediately realized I was supposed to meet Rarity at the local bookstore and then head to my house for my party. I decided to call Mrs. Cake on a payphone when I got to the store and tell her what happened there. I didn't want to disappoint Rarity. As I left, I didn't notice Ned staring at me from afar. OMG, plot build-up. Rarity, sorry I'm late. Oh, that's quite alright, dear. I was just browsing through the store's vast selection of literature when I came across something interesting. Really? What? This. She pulled out a blood-red book from one of the store's plastic bags, meaning she had already purchased it. It was entitled The Number 22, and subtitled A Horrifying Odyssey by Topsy Kretz. I already bought this for you. Happy birthday. Oh, Rarity, thank you. I can't wait to see what it's about. It doesn't have a summary on the back, but it did skim to the first page. There's a very sincere and frightening message on the first page. Really? Picking it up with my magic, I opened the book and read the message. My fellow reader, before you thrust yourself, shut up, Omni, into this frightening tale of horror and mystery, I warn you that if the characters in this book relate themselves in any way to any ponies or animals in your life, do not read further. Spooky, huh? Yeah? Flipping over to the first chapter, I found the title to be called The Dog Next Door. The Dog Next Door? That's weird. What is it, darling? The picture of this dog looks a lot like a dog that I used to live next door to me when I lived my childhood in Canterlot. Odd. Oh my goodness, I hate to interrupt your memories, Twilight, but we're going to be late for the party. Let's get going. Oh. Okay. As we dashed off to the library, I failed to remember Mrs.cake. See, Twilight's just being a D-bag right now. She forgets that, Pinkie Pie's in bed, sick, and now she forgets to tell the woman, the owner of the cake she just ruined, that the cake is ruined.
Yay.
Shut up, Fluttershy. Little did I know that her angry lecture to me would be nothing compared to the horrors my birthday present would bring me. Rary's got to feel kind of bad later in the story when she finds out the book she gave her is making her go insane. Anyway, Twilight, I'm so glad you could make it. I was just about to show every pony my new trick. Rainbow Dash, there's two things I'd like to point out. One, this is my birthday party, so obviously I would be here. Two, we'll not be doing any tricks here because this is my house. Oh, right. Sorry, every pony. Maybe some other time. Aww. And that trick will be played out in a store called Building Bridges. It's a very good one. And if you don't like to read, like some people
Raise his
here,
hand.
you can go over to a channel owned by a guy named Azkar. He did a 5-part series on it. It is pretty good. It's not a clockpick. It's more of a
More sponsor.
Pick, More sponsor. Personal plug. Actually, it's not even a personal plug, but as the party progressed, I had a fun time eating cake, playing pin the tail on the pony and getting presents. But all I could think about was the book. It had drawn itself a place in my mind, and now I couldn't stop thinking about it. So after I finally got everyone, including Rainbow Dash, I wonder why she wanted to stay. I began on the book, The Dog Next Door. Let me get my voice in here. You can call me Hoofling. It's not my real name, but I like it better. Got it from a book I knew as a child, Hoofling at the Zoo. I think that was my first book. My mother would read it to me all the time. Funny, I don't even remember what it was about. I just remember the name, Hoofling. I put down the book for a moment as a thought flashed through my mind. My mother had read the same book to me as a child. I'm pretty sure it was also the first book I had ever known. Freaky. My childhood was nothing special. The stork dropped me off in the Fancy Pants Kingdom of Canterlot. So that's kind of the official where ponies come from, and the stork. Anyway, all of the other kids stayed there, becoming part of the Kingdom's higher society. But I didn't want to spend my life in that frou-frou place. I wanted to live somewhere on my own. My father was an accountant. I guess he thought I would someday step into his shoes and be one too. But on my 8th birthday, I disappointed him by telling my mom I wanted to be a researcher, or maybe a librarian. This fueled his hatred for our next-door neighbor, Lady Gumdrops, who blamed my newly wanted future on the fact that I had spent almost every day of my childhood spying on her. I knew that I could write a research paper on her strange behavior. She had a dog, one that my dad thought of as pure mischief, that would come into our yard every day, do his business, and then run back into the house. I was told never to cross the fence over into your yard, but on my 8th birthday, I broke that rule. So I followed the dog up her creaky stairs. I realized the house outside looks did not match with its inside. While the outside was brand new, the inside was old, dusty, and dark. It was as if no one had lived there in years. Then, when I got to her bedroom, I saw it. Lady Gumdrops was lying on her bed, completely motionless, covered in blood. She had multiple stab wounds in her chest and neck. When I saw her dead body, first one I'd seen in my life, my heart raced. The police labeled it as suicide. My mind wouldn't let me believe that. I imagined her being killed by an insane lover. The adrenaline rush of imagination I got that day drove me to become a full-time researcher. A later encounter with Princess Celestia at the Summer Sun celebration inspired me to also learn magic, making me double busy. Did I forget to mention I was a unicorn? Oh, well, I know. Oh my.
It's more dinosaurs.
Jesus Christ. This book had not only taken memories from my life, but had imitated them. While not every fact was correct, this book was almost an exact copy of my childhood. And, like the character in the book, I was immediately filled with adrenaline. End of chapter 1.